We start with 1 hour chart. We want to see how we can look for trade. I mean, how we can analyze the chart. First of all, if we refer to our analysis, we mentioned we want to see whether the price can break 1.73 or not. We mentioned if the price cannot break, we can expect for the deeper correction, and this is what we get. And right now we want to see as what we expect because we put distance. We want to see, we mentioned we want to see whether the price can break or not. As we can see, the price almost somewhere around 1.5, which is the 30% of the bigger move. Okay, we don't need these lines anymore. And the only thing is we're looking at this correct. We want to see whether this one can turn to a correction for price to drop or not. Okay, and the second thing is we want to see whether the price can break 1.43, which is a 50%, following by 1.63. This is the levels and zone we are looking for. And what we can expect, if we get a correction here, we can expect the price drop to this zone. Then from there, we can look for whether we can see the reversal or not. Okay, because if the price break the 61%, which is around 1.36, then mostly we can see the continuation. That's why we're looking at this zone. All right. Anyway, right now, if we'll put this low and really almost price broke or take the previous low, we see we have a divergence. And I don't think this divergence is going to give us indication for the price to drop. For the price to reverse. Mostly, we can expect to get the correction here. Okay. Anyway, we start with higher time frame. We want to see how we can look at the chart, and then we move to 1 hour chart. First things, I just moved this one. All right. If we refer to our analysis, we have been looking for this correction in relative to this move, and this is what we get. Because we mentioned if we get any trade setup for buy, we will take the trade. Now the question is whether we can expect to get the correction for continuation or not. That's why we discuss about the 50 and 61% levels based on the 1 hour chart. Okay, but can we put this move in relative to this as an internal flat and this one turn to a deeper correction? This is what we need to be quite careful if we move to forward chart. All right. First things, as I mentioned, based on daily chart, can we put this one in relative to this and this one turn to a bigger correction? We need to be quite careful about this move. Okay. The way they are moving, in terms of the length and time, they are not matched. But we need to be quite careful about this option. That means still we are within this bigger correction and the price. If we get a deeper correction here, maybe the price can retest the previous low. Okay, the first things we need to know about this. That's why in my last analysis, I mentioned if the price cannot break 1.73, even we point on this correction. Okay, and right now we're looking at this move. We want to see whether we can expect that this is a correction in relative to this for one move up at least or not. Okay, for me, the possibility of the price to reverse drop and retest the previous low is very less, but we need to be quite careful. And all it depends on what we get here and what I'm expecting to get the correction here and the price give me one more drop. Then from there, you want to see whether the price can break 1.36 or not. Okay, this is the reasons. That's why we can expect this one tend to a deeper correction. Then if we get the reversal from there, we can look for buy. All right, whether we should buy from here or sell, we cannot confirm unless we see the bigger picture. I mean, the tend to bigger correction. Mostly, I can expect to get the deeper correction. And if we get the deeper correction, we can look for the short-term sell. That means we can expect to get the correction here, the price drop. Then from there, we look for the reversal for buy. This is what I'm looking for. Okay. Again, it doesn't mean the price cannot reverse from here. But in terms of the trading, we're talking about how deep this move can be. Okay. And if I move to 1 hour chart, and what I can see here, even it show me the divergence, I don't think the price can reverse from here. If the price reverse from here, the only way we can look for trade if we see any sharp move, correction of lag above this move, the previous top above this correction, then from there we see whether we can look for trade or not. But the reason is I say we want to see whether in terms of the risk and reward it can give us really good trade setup or not. But what I prefer this one to give me a correction, price to drop, at least break 1.43. Then from there, I look for reversal. This is the best things if I want to look for trade, I prefer. Okay, that's mean what we're expecting to get the correction here. and the price drop. And if the price drop, we don't want to see the breakout of this zone, which is somewhere between 1.43 and 1.36, if we want to look for the reversal. Okay, that's why if anyone wants to look for sell from here, if we get a flat, this is what we can expect. That their target should be somewhere between 1.43 and 1.36. At least this is where they should start to manage, move their stop loss to break even. Can we expect the price to drop from here? If this is the only correction, the only way to look for trade, put over entry below this, which I won't suggest it. If anyone wants to look for sell, let this one turn to a deeper move. At least they see the flat, then they internally they see whether they can look for sell or not. And if they get any sell when the price come to this level, they see whether there is a continuation or not. For sell, I'm not interested. For me, I prefer the price drop. Then if the price drop within this zone, if I get any trade for buy, I will take it from there. This is the only things I'm looking for. Rather than that, the rest will be very short-term trade with a small profit. Okay. And what I want to suggest here right now, if anyone wants to look for trade, they consider any trade as a short-term trade, and if they get the trade, they see within 3 to 4 hours is not moving in their directions. Okay, either move their stop loss to break even or just take out the trade. Okay, because nowadays, as I mentioned, most of the charts, they are within the correction. Okay, sometimes when we see this kind of the situation for the market, we cannot rely 100% on the analysis. Sometimes they manipulate the market, and this is something we cannot control it. That's why every time I mention, we wait for the trade setup confirmation before we take the trade. Okay, because even right now we're talking about price drop to this zone, then from there we look for reversal. We cannot confirm with that. How about if the price drop and continue? Because that's why I mentioned, based on forward chart, I mentioned about the bigger picture, about the different possibility. But technically for me, I'm expecting to get the correction here, the price to drop. If I see any reversal for buy from there, I will take it. This is the only things I'm looking for. Okay, anyway, we just follow the chart. If I see any update or any trade that can give me confirmation for the next move, I will share. Thanks.